Hey guys, I am Veronica. This is the Essential Astrocast. I'm happy to be back talking to you guys this week on a Tuesday. Tuesday feels like it might be our new date, so let's see. We'll experiment for the rest of August and then see when more people can tune in for the live broadcast. So as always, if you miss any part of the live broadcast, you can always go find me, wherever you listen to podcasts. So this is a really wonderful week astrologically. I mean, hopefully it's a wonderful week for you, not astrologically as well. So we've got the Sun and Venus conjunct, and that is like this big kiss in the sky of goodness. It's one of the sweetest days of the year, and that is happening actually today and tomorrow. The Sun and Venus will be together, and then they'll be traveling close together for a few more days. And the Sun and Venus in Leo is like the ultimate love fest because Leo rules the heart. Leo rules the desires that come from the heart. It's a wonderful day to spend with the people that you love and that you feel really safe with and that you feel really loved by. It's interesting because this week we have the full moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius is the opposing sign to Leo. When the sun is in one sign and the moon is in the opposite sign, we have what we call a full moon. So the full moon in Aquarius this week will, really be traveling on the coattails of this Sun-Venus connection. And so it's going to bring into our consciousness what we value, not only on the individual level, but the collective level, because Aquarius rules the collective. It rules humanity. It rules what we value in our friendship, in our friend circle. It rules what we value in our community. It rules what we value in the groups that we choose to be a part of, right? So if you have been maybe surrounding yourself with people, whether it's your friends or coworkers or people that you spend time with in, your extracurriculars, whether it's at CrossFit or yoga or at church. If you feel like those people aren't necessarily getting you anymore, then this might be a full moon where you let go of them and you start to find some people that get you a little bit more. So that's like the flavor of the week. I do think anytime we have Venus involved, Venus, we automatically think of love and romance and all of that ooey gooey stuff when we think of Venus. But Venus rules our finances. Venus rules what we value. So on a material level as well as on a spiritual level. So this is a really, really good time this week to check in with what do you value? What's important to you? Where do you want to spend your time and energy, and with whom do you want to spend your time and your energy? And you might find that it's shifted for you over the summer because the eclipses have brought in a lot of change. They've illuminated some things that perhaps we weren't seeing. And so now we have this fresh perspective, and it's the opportunity to take some action on whatever we found out and whatever fresh perspective has been granted us. So the other thing to take note is that we did have a big day on Sunday. So we had Jupiter stationing direct. Jupiter rules, it's our confidence, it's fortune, it's abundance, but it's also the tendency to overindulge. It's also the tendency to really, similar in a way to Aquarius, it thinks big. It's a big thinker. It's a philosophical planet, especially when it's in its home sign in Sagittarius. So this is a really big week about thinking about what do you believe in? What's important to you? What values do you align yourself with? And how can your contribution help the larger collective in that? So Leo and Jupiter and Sagittarius, both very confident. All the fire signs are confident, but Jupiter and Sag is very confident. The Sun, Venus, and Mercury, all being in Leo, make us very confident. So this is a great opportunity for you to step into that next phase of your being with confidence, with complete presence that you're doing what you desire in your heart. Because Leo, we had so much Cancer this summer, and that's so emotional. So we did a lot of that emotional work. Now the full moon in Aquarius is ruled by the water bearer. So you can imagine it's the woman holding the water. Water rules our emotions. So now that we did all that work in Cancer, we did all that emotional upheaval, we've done a lot of healing this summer. Now you're in a position of holding your emotions. You actually have a grasp on them. They are not ruling you. You are allowing them to help you do the work that you want to do in the world. So now it's about, how will you take action? How will you step into that? How will you show up on the stage of your choosing so that you can shine and bring that out? Now, mind you, we only have about, a week and 2 days more of Leo season, but Mercury will be in Leo a lot longer. So we will have definitely a few more weeks of having that confident way of being in our thought process, a confident way of speaking. Mercury rules communication. So we're going to still not be in that confident place, but we will be in Virgo, and Virgo is about service. So just sort of start to consider that, because later this week, Mars is going to move into Virgo, and our focus and our drive and our ambition is going to be a little bit more about how can I be of service and how can I get to work. So this is definitely a time of tapping into the passion. This week is really an opportunity to tap into your passion and cultivate that so that you can start to work on whatever you've chosen to direct your energy, your attention, your value, your awareness, all of that into. So we also have Uranus stationed retrograde on Sunday. And so while Jupiter is moving direct and we're feeling confident and passionate and ready to take action and doing all of that work that hopefully will bring a lot more abundance into our life, maybe you're seeing that something, if you had your house on the market and it wasn't selling and then Jupiter goes direct and then it sells, or you might be having like little fortunate, lucky things that are happening now that Jupiter is moving direct. We also had Uranus station retrograde. Uranus stationing retrograde, that is in Taurus, which is the sign, again, Venus rules Taurus, especially Venus in Taurus is very concerned with money, values, material wealth, and as well as, what do you value in the people in your life? Who do you surround yourself with? Taurus people are generally really into having a beautiful home and having a small circle, a small trusted circle of people. So Uranus retrograding in Taurus is giving us an opportunity to review not only where we've been the past few months with Taurus moving through Uranus moving through Taurus, but it's also going to have us review how we're spending money, how we are making money, how we value ourselves, what we value, what we spend our money on. That's all going to be illuminated with Uranus going retrograde in Taurus. And then the last bit that happened on Sunday was that Mercury moved into Leo, still in its retrograde shadow, but will be leaving its retrograde shadow on the full moon this Thursday. The one other thing I wanted to bring your attention that's releasing is the Yod. So we had this finger of God that was transiting the past couple of weeks, and it was pointing at Mars, action taking, and then it was pointing at the sun, your ego, your confidence, your way of being. And then it was pointing at Venus. And Venus is really ruling the sky this week because Venus is all about our values, what we love, what we want to spend money on, and how we make money, right? So now we're finishing up. That finger of God is finishing up pointing at Venus. We've had this collective clean out, or pointing to those signs and cleaning out anything that was holding us back from really honoring whatever those planets and those signs are trying to teach us. And now we can really start to move forward, because you're going to feel this forward momentum pick up over the next few weeks. It's not like, again, astrology, I always say this, it's not black and white. We don't go from 0 to 100. So, maybe we're going 45 miles an hour right now. We'll start to get a little bit faster as the next few weeks progress. But I wanted to say with that yod, the yod include Saturn, Neptune, and it was pointing at Mars, then the sun, then Venus. And with everything going on in the news, and I don't want to get too into the current events, these are fated events that are happening because collectively we're not paying attention to something. So this finger of God is really pointing, not to say that these things had to happen, but saying that these things are fated in the way that they are aligning with the astrology to teach us something and to really wake us up. So if you haven't woken up yet, the planets are like, wake the F up, okay? And that's kind of how Finger of God can be. So we're gonna move into the week. I wanna tell you a little bit about the moons. The Monday, which was yesterday, the moon was in Capricorn. If it felt a little heavy to you, you're not alone. I felt it was a little bit heavy. I think the moon, whenever it comes to Capricorn this year, it touches Saturn, it touches Pluto. Those are really heavy planets. Saturn is ruling our sense of discipline, our sense of responsibility, and Pluto is helping us release, burn it down, transcend, to be reborn. So anytime the moon is touching those planets, especially with all that those planets have brought us throughout the eclipse season, it can feel heavy. It can also bring up the emotions that you were feeling a month, 2 months ago. And it's not fun. It's not fun stuff. So if you're like, it's Leo season, I should want to party and I'm feeling heavy, yesterday we had Capricorn moon. Capricorn moon's not a party sign. So the moon rules how we feel. So don't let the Jupiter direct and the Leo make you feel like something is wrong with you because you're not having a great time. There's a lot of we're still processing what we went through with the eclipse season. And yes, it's great to have good astrology and it's great to have good energy. But it doesn't mean that you're not missing out on something if you don't feel as great as, let's say, a lot of the horoscopes are telling you you're supposed to be feeling right now. So you can't miss out on the astrology because it's just your life and the planets are, helping nudge you in the direction that you need to go. And so you just have to listen to that. Monday, we had that Capricorn moon, and that's a fleeting feeling of being a little bit heavy. We do have 4 planets in Leo. So a lot of what's going on right now is asking us to tune in, to tap into our heart space. So if all of the news in the world is really hitting you hard, it's meant to. Again, finger of God, these things are fated and they're meant to hit you in the heart space and they are meant to wake you the F up. So do what you can. This full moon in Aquarius is really about how can your individual values, your individual creativity be beneficial to the collective? How can you use your emotional intelligence to create impact? And I'll talk about that more in my full moon broadcast for my Patreon members. If you want to join, you can go to patreon.com/Veronica Peretti and you can become a member of my Essential Astrology membership. And I do an extra broadcast for the new moon and the full moon over there for my members. Okay, moving on to the full moon. So the moon's in Aquarius. So the Aquarius moon can make us really logical, puts us in our brain, takes us out of the emotions, because remember, the water bearer, she holds the emotions, she understands the emotions, but she uses her brain, she uses the logic, right? And so that can make Aquarius feel a little bit standoffish, but they're actually deeply, deeply caring people. They don't necessarily show it the way a Cancer would show it, So they're just different way of being. They don't show it the way a Leo would show it, big hugs. They're not necessarily going to be that way. So you might pull back on the full moon and be a little bit more in your mind, but it doesn't mean that you're not using your emotional intelligence. Interestingly, the full moon chart includes a square between Mercury and Uranus. So on Thursday, you might feel like just letting it out. Mercury square Uranus can make us feel like, oh my God, I just want to burst. I just have to say it. Anytime we're talking about Aquarius or Uranus, we're also talking about the desire for freedom, the desire to rebel, the desire to be a little bit of a rebel. So if you're feeling a little rebellious these days, then that full moon definitely has a part of it. And the other thing is, sometimes it's good to be rebellious. Sometimes it's good to open your mind to new ways of thinking. So while Mercury square Uranus might make us, open our mouth when we don't mean to, or before we really think it through, it also could be a way of opening your mind to new ways of doing things. On Thursday, the moon is going to, after the full moon, the moon is going to go into Pisces, and that'll be kind of nice. We'll kind of get like a bird's eye view of everything, and we'll pull back and maybe be a little bit more internal. And I think that the moon in Pisces is actually going to be a really nice time to put a lot of these pieces together. Friday, we have still the moon in Pisces. And then we have long moons this week. The moon is moving slower. The moons are about 3 days each. They're usually more like 2.5. So the moon's moving a little bit slower this week. We'll have a nice weekend with the moon in Pisces. So definitely sit back, relax, do some healing work, get to the beach, go to the pool. And then Sunday, things are going to take off again. Something about Sundays lately. Sundays are really like big astrological days. Sunday, the Mars is going to go into Virgo, and the moon is going to go into Aries. And so we're going to start to get a little bit nitpicky and perfectionist about our work. So really let this week be a little bit messy. Let this week be really ruled by your heart, be ruled by your passion. Spend some time journaling about what's important to you. What do you value? What do you want to keep with you on this journey? What do you want to let go? What groups and communities and people and beliefs can you leave behind with this full moon? And where can you go that is new and innovative and will help lead to your freedom, whether if it's on an emotional level, whether it's on a financial level, whether it's on a professional level, whether it's just a freedom from a certain belief, something you're believing that's holding you back. So that's all I've got for you this week. I think it's a really great week to spend some time with the people that you love. Remember why you love them. Really check in with how you love and how you want to be loved. Sun and Venus coming together is a great time to really energize on how you want to be loved, how you love. If you've never done the love languages, might be a good week to do it. And really connect with your partner. We have all of these planets in Leo that are asking you to really be in your heart center. So don't run away from that. Use this opportunity to be in it, because sooner than you know it, we're going to be in Virgo time. And Virgo time is all about putting pen to paper, getting the details right. So allow yourself to be in this messy place of the heart. It's a beautiful thing. And we all should spend a little bit more time listening to our hearts, because then we wouldn't necessarily be in the place that we are in the world right now. So if one thing the astrology can teach us these past few weeks, it's that. I love you all. Come on over to my site, veronicaparty.com. You can learn more about the Central Astrology membership there. You can book a reading with me there. If you are not sure how you should be activating your chart right now and working with this full moon, or how the eclipses really need to be worked with, or what they left you with, then book a reading, because we can suss it through together. And I will see you next week. All right. Have a wonderful week, guys.